hot. Wow. Yeah. I've always loved the concept of a journal. However, making journaling a real habit of mine is something that I used to struggle with so much. I look at a blank page and my mind would just empty out. Like there was nothing that I was ever thinking about. And I think and talk to myself all the freaking time. So there's plenty up there. Now I'm filling journals with pages and pages and pages of free writing, and it only took me 2 things to get there. I used to journal only when I was sad. So if you look back at like my middle school, high school, some of my college journals, you would think, oh my gosh, this girl is miserable and also a little dramatic. And I was dramatic, but I wasn't miserable. But I only ever journaled when things went wrong or I felt depressed. I journal almost every single day now, and I still have pages and pages of sad, angry, depressed, miserable writing, but I have even more pages filled with gratitude and happy mundane moments like a really good cup of coffee or a really lovely weekend with friends. There's also plenty of planning, reflections, crazy ideas, brain dumps. Virtually everything that I think goes into one of my journals. When I decided that I wanted to make journaling a real habit, my pages did not look like this at all. They looked a little bit more like this. So when you're getting started, start small with guided lists and prompts, especially if you're intimidated by free writing like I was. This is the template that I use virtually every single day, and here are some examples of prompts that I often used. Sometimes I literally just wrote down a couple things, 3 things, 5 things that I was grateful for, and that was it. A very small but mighty step in building a journaling habit, or any habit, is just to do as much as you can in that moment. Because building a habit is a long and dedicated process that isn't about perfection, it's just about consistency. And at the beginning of building a habit, you're probably gonna need some reminders to stay consistent. I set up reminders and triggers for myself to stay consistent with a habit like journaling. The reminder method goes like this. Literally set up reminders on your phone, whether it's a reminder or an alarm. Pick a time that you either want to journal at or you have the time to journal at, and I would recommend going for the latter. Just because you want to do it at a certain time doesn't mean that you actually will have the time and the motivation to do it at that time. Either way, pick a time and set a reminder for that time every single day to journal. You can journal for literally 30 seconds. You can journal for 2 minutes, for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes. But it's important to tick that off every single day and get that journaling done at the time that you set it up for yourself. Down the line, you're eventually going to journal at all different times of the day. It might not be at the same exact time, but you've built the habit that this is something that you need to do every day. Or you can create a trigger in your schedule. So this can look like, if you always have breakfast at your desk or your coffee table every morning, make sure that your journal is already open to a blank page with the pen out at that space if you want to journal in the morning. That way when you sit down, it's like, trigger, I have to journal, this is the moment to do it. If you want to journal at night, you can put your journal out on your bed as soon as you make your bed in the morning, so that when you hop back into bed that night, you see, oh, it's ready for me, I have to journal now. It's a reminder to your brain, like, oh, I set this up for myself already, time to follow through. These 2 things with a bit of motivation and discipline will help you to create your journaling habit. This is how I built my journaling habit. It took me years to switch from the more structured way of journaling that I showed you to the more loose, free-form way of journaling that I do now. And I switch back and forth all the time, depending on my mood. But I do think most of my journals are just brain dumps now. And I also have journals that are specifically for planning that are more structured in that way, so I kind of do both. Journaling is truly a habit worth building. If I go too long without journaling, and I'm talking like 3 to 4 days without journaling, I can tell. It affects my mood, it affects the way that I act. Journaling is more than just a way of expressing yourself. It's also a way to understand yourself and the world around you and the people around you, and to work through your emotions in a healthy manner. The amount of times that I've realized things through journaling about myself or about other people or about situations is crazy, because sometimes all it takes is to just like get it all out into paper with like no inhibitions and no judgment, and you might be able to see a new side of things. In case you couldn't tell, I'm a big fan of journaling, and I think everybody and their mother should do it. If you already journal and you have your own tips for beginners, comment them down below. I'd love to read them, and I'm sure that they will help somebody else. Until next time.